Hi, in this video, I'll walk through the two most basic functions of StatCrunch, graphing and computing the summary statistics. Before doing anything, we need to start StatCrunch and then load the data. So you log into StatCrunch and then you click Open StatCrunch right here. It'll get you to this screen of an empty StatCrunch table. And what you do is you click on Data, Load, and then wherever your data are. It could be in your Dropbox, Google Drive, from a file on the computer, or if you're in a class and your professor has loaded the data in your class group, it's probably under My Groups. Let's say you're done with that step. You have your data here. This particular data set is the 1992 presidential election, and there are two categorical variables here, county and state, and the rest are numerical / quantitative variables. So first, let me show you how to graph. Click on Graph, and then on this menu item, pick the kind of graph that you are looking for. Let's say you want a histogram of the mean savings variable right here. Then you click on Graph, choose the kind of graph you need, which is a histogram. This pops up. Under Select Columns, select the column you're trying to graph. I'm trying to graph mean savings, so I click on that. If I want to graph multiple variables, I can hold down Control and click. For example, if I want both median savings and median age and percent poverty, all of that as a histogram, then I hold down Control and I click 3 of them. For most graphs in a stats class, leaving the rest as default is usually good enough. For a histogram, a lot of times I want to turn on these two settings here, these two boxes here, green for mean and red for median. And when I'm done, I click compute. And I end up with a bunch of histograms. And remember here, I have chosen 3 variables. So I ended up with 3 graphs. This is graph 1 of 3. It is the mean savings. I click on this arrow here to turn the page. And I get the median age. Green is median and red is mean. If I mouse over the line, it'll tell me what the meaning of the line is. And this graph is very symmetric, so mean and median are very close together. Whereas this graph is skewed to the right, and you can see that the mean is to the right of the median. So remember, the mean runs where the long tail is, whereas the median is more likely to stay in place, and the mean goes where the skew is. That's how you draw a histogram. Let's say that you want to draw a scatterplot of 2 variables. Suppose you want a scatterplot of percent that voted for Clinton versus the percent that are veterans. Then again, because this is a graph, I click on Graph and I look for scatterplot. And here it is. This menu list is using the standard terminology of a stats class. So it makes it really easy to find. I need an X variable and a Y variable. I said I was looking for percent Clinton versus percent veterans. And again, the rest of it, I can just leave as default. And I click compute. And here's the result. A massive scatterplot that indicates there's no association between the 2 variables. What percent of a county voted for Clinton? And by the way, this is 1992, so we're talking about Bill Clinton. Doesn't seem to predict much about what percent of that county are military veterans. Next topic, summary statistics. Let's say we want to compute the mean, standard deviation, median, and IQR of the median age variable. We're going to be clicking on Stat, Summary Stats, Columns, because we want a summary stat of a column. And then we find that column. We were talking about median age, so we click on median age. And now down here under statistics, there are a whole bunch of them. that are already highlighted. They are the ones that are most likely to be calculated by a typical person, so they're already highlighted as the default. But you notice that there's no IQR among the defaults. Now, I guess we could just get the Q3 and Q1 and go Q3 minus Q1 equals IQR. But there's an IQR entry here, so might as well. I want to add on the IQR to the list of the statistics already selected. On a Windows PC, I use Control-Click. On a Mac, I would use Command and Click. Control-Click on here, I get IQR. So now I have a list of all the default and also IQR. Click on Compute. And I have all the results in this table. I want to talk about the variance and standard deviation here. These are sample variance and sample standard deviation. Population variance and population standard deviation are not part of the default settings. Now, suppose we know our data set come from a population and we want population variance and population standard deviation. How do we do that? Let's go back and do it again. Stats, summary stats, columns, and select median age. And I have all of these statistics already selected as default. And down here, unadjusted variance and unadjusted standard deviation, those are the population variance and population standard deviations. So I hold down Control or on a Mac command and click. Then over here, I see that the statistics selected include all the default plus the unadjusted variance and standard deviation. Click Compute. And I get all these results. The variance and standard deviation over here are sample variance and standard deviation, whereas the unadjusted variance and standard deviation over here are the population variance and standard deviation. How do we know which one to use, the sample or the unadjusted? You have to know where your data came from. If your data came from a sample, which is like 99% of the data you see in your life, then use sample variance and sample standard deviation. If in the rare case where your data came from a population, then use the unadjusted variance and unadjusted standard deviation. In summary, to graph things, click on Graph. To compute things, click on Stat. Hope that helps. Subscribe for more contents. Bye.